Hi guys, this is Atco. A couple weeks ago I was at a yard sale and there was a 1938 Philco table radio, model 38-15. Man, I'll tell you, the cabinet was in beautiful shape and the dial was beautiful. I asked the guy, does it work? He said, well, yeah, it was working. We just couldn't change the dial. It was stuck, so it was whatever channel's on, that's all I can use. So, I looked at inside and it was pretty dirty, but it was in such nice shape that we had to work out a price, and I finally got it for 22 bucks. So one thing I noticed though is that if you shake that thing, it just shakes with something in there, something terrible. I was nowhere about going to plug this thing in to see what's making all that noise. So I figured there was probably two mainly things that could have made this noise. So my first guess was that one of the tubes in the back had broken and all the glass had fallen down, and that's what I'm hearing, all glass breaking around in there. So that could be it. And then the only other thing that I can think of that could have created this noise is that the guy who had this thing before used to keep a lot of antique coins and all his gold nuggets where he's keeping all that expensive things. Those are the only two things I could think of it could be. So let's go take a look. Now, I'm afraid of it being the glass, so I thought I'd better put it in this box so everything, I can get that out of there without going all over the table. Alright, so I unscrew. There was only one screw out of the three to keep the cabinet in, and then pulled the knobs out. Okay, and then let's see what happens out. So it turned out there's even a third option that could have occurred. And there it is. It's a lot of birds were spending a lot of time trying to save all the bird feed in that thing, and it fallen down into the chassis for, who knows. So alright, so that's what it turned out to be. Alright, I got that stuff out of there, threw it in the trash. Okay, now here's my chassis. Speaker looks pretty good shape, and like I showed, the dial looks good and the pointer's there. So I looked around the side of it. I didn't see any broken tubes or anything, but boy, it's really dirty inside. I got a lot of work to do before I'm going to want to try to run this thing. And I looked at the electronics part of the chassis, and yeah, it looks like it's all original stuff. I don't think anything's been worked on. There seems to be 6-7 capacitors there. Two of them are the electrolytics in a double can. And then now the other thing he had was that he said that it would work, but you couldn't change the tuning. So I assumed, I was kind of thinking that the string had broken for setting the tune, but it looks like it's okay. When I look down a little closer into it, it just seems the string just slides right on the end of the shaft for tuner. So I could see though that radio was so dirty, I was able to move the tuning capacitors. Even though they were hard to move, they did move, and I've had other capacitors hard to move across there. Still, the tuning dial would still turn. So I'm going to have to take a look and see whether do I need to tighten that string, or I'm not exactly sure what I'll do on that, so we'll have to see. Okay, so that's where I'm at. This is just my first part of looking at this thing. So I'm going to have to go get me a schematic, and if I'm lucky, a parts list. I doubt that I'll have any of the capacitors that I need, so I'll have to order the capacitors. I'm going to want to take this thing apart and clean those tubes, try to clean all that dirt the best I can out of that chassis, and we'll go from there. So this is just my first part now of this Philco 3815. So you'll be hearing from me soon. This is Atco, signing off.